fighters.
What's that?
Only fighters who are not paid and not getting laid.
Mm-hmm.
They're the fighters who are jealous. People, negative people who are not making any money and are not set to gain anything from this fight, which are in Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. I think it's fantastic. I think it's creating a lot of money. One for Texas, selling out all them tickets, and that means drinks, alcohol, food and beverage, everything for the local area. Big influx in dollars being spent in the local area.
Tyson Fury issued a stern warning to Jake Paul ahead of his upcoming fight with Mike Tyson. Fury confidently predicted that Mike Tyson would emerge victorious in their bout. He expressed his belief that Tyson's experience, power, and skill would be too much for Jake Paul to handle. Fury's warning to Jake Paul was clear and direct. He cautioned Paul about underestimating Mike Tyson, emphasizing Tyson's legendary status in the boxing world. Fury highlighted Tyson's knockout power and the immense respect he commands in the sport, suggesting that Paul could be in for a rude awakening.
And then you got, obviously, all of Mike's teams are being fed, and all of Jake's teams being fed out of it. So there's a lot of mouths being fed, a lot of people's rents are being paid. So I don't know what's to be negative about it. I'm over the moon for it. Looking forward to it.
You'll be watching.
I get to see the legend in Mike Tyson back in the ring in my era. Fantastic. I already saw one him against Roy Jones. It was fantastic. So I get to see him again live and exclusive as an adult. What a treat.
Fury's prediction comes amidst a growing hype and anticipation surrounding the fight between Tyson and Paul. Both fighters have been vocal in the build-up to the match, with Paul making bold claims about knocking out Tyson, while Tyson has been dismissive of Paul's abilities. Fury's warning serves as a reminder of the gravity of the challenge Jake Paul faces in the ring against a seasoned and formidable opponent like Mike Tyson. It adds an extra layer of intrigue to what promises to be a highly anticipated event in the world of boxing. Although the atmosphere at the press conference was amicable, the reactions from boxing professionals to Mike Tyson's comments were anything but. Many issued stern warnings to Jake Paul in response. While some offered advice on how he might avoid a severe beating from Tyson, others suggested he steer clear of the fight altogether. But is that even a viable option? Although the press conference between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul didn't display the usual hostility seen in boxing face-offs, it still left a significant impression on the boxing community. Despite the face-off ending in laughter, seasoned boxing professionals detected a sense of foreboding. Many see past the humor and foresee potential peril for Jake Paul. Mike Tyson's impressive physique, confidence, and sharpness have convinced many that he's still a formidable opponent. As a result, they've issued warnings to Jake Paul about the upcoming fight on July 20th. Boxing enthusiasts were taken aback when Mike Tyson announced his return to the ring to face Jake Paul. Initially believed to be an exhibition match, it has now been confirmed as a professional bout, largely due to Tyson's insistence on making it a serious contest. Tyson's significant influence extended to the fight's rules as well. Scheduled for July 20th, this match presents two intriguing outcomes. Either Tyson will add another notable victory to his illustrious career, or Paul will boast a win over the legendary Iron Mike in a competitive fight. Tyson's determination to elevate the stakes has undeniably heightened the excitement for fans. At their inaugural press conference in New York City on Monday, Paul disclosed that Tyson's team had proposed a professional match merely a week after the contracts were finalized. "After signing the contracts, we received a call from Mike's team," Paul recounted. "They insisted on making it a professional bout with Mike wanting to go all in. I respect that decision, and I agreed without hesitation. If that's what he wanted," I said, "let's make it happen." This audacious move by Tyson to advocate for a professional fight underscores why many boxing experts foresee trouble for the problem child. Amidst the intense build-up to his upcoming bout, Tyson Fury didn't hold back on his bold opinions about the matchup. While he praised the concept of the fight, he was less approving of what he deemed Jake Paul's self-imposed death sentence. Fury suggested that Paul was taking an enormous gamble, having let the comparisons to established boxers inflate his ego. Fury claims that Iron Mike Tyson, who is 58 years old, is just as explosive and lethal as the 20-year-old Mike Tyson, who became the youngest person to win the World Heavyweight Championship title at the age of 20.
And then you got like Jake Paul, him and his brother have done fantastic. I know we've got a rivalry going on with Tommy and that, but I got to speak how I see it. Jake and Logan have done absolutely fantastic for themselves, from becoming like young kids to be multimillionaires and YouTubers and wrestlers and boxers and everything else, and entertaining. So I know they've got a lot of haters and stuff. However, I'm not one of them. I'm a fan and I support it. I support people going in and making lots of millions of dollars out of boxing, my sport.
However, Tyson Fury wasn't the only boxing professional weighing in on the dangers Jake Paul might face in the ring on July 20th. Before we hear their opinions, it's worth noting that both Mike Tyson and Jake Paul had issued stern warnings to each other. Tyson made it clear that the camaraderie seen during the press conference would vanish once they entered the ring. According to the official fight rules, it will be a heavyweight bout allowing knockouts, but it will consist of only 8 two-minute rounds, a condition specifically requested by the 57-year-old Tyson and agreed upon by Paul for the sake of entertainment. This high level of confidence is concerning, but with Iron Mike Tyson, almost anything is possible. Despite the potential tension, the two have mostly shown respect for each other, opting to offer praise rather than insults. It was a stark contrast to the intense press conferences of Tyson's prime. This time, he seemed to be taking it lightly, cracking jokes instead of hurling insults. Tyson and Paul grinned as they faced off for the first time, with Tyson throwing a few playful jabs at Paul. It was clear both understood the lucrative nature of their bout. Dressed in all black, Tyson acknowledged Paul's rising status, saying, "He's the new up-and-coming guy on the scene. I like shaking up the sports world, and that's what I'm doing now. It's just something I want to do." Tyson dismissed skeptics who questioned his age and abilities in the ring. When asked about critics doubting his capability to fight the 27-year-old Paul, Tyson responded with poise. "I'm beautiful, that's all I can say. The people who say I'm too old wish they were up here. No one else can do this. Who else can shut the sporting world down? No one. You've got the both of us, so we're going to do this. We're friends, no doubt, but in the ring, that changes. That's just how it is." Iron Mike shared insights into his comeback training, expressing both determination and the toll it's taking on his body. "I'm doing great, but my body is in hell right now. I'm really sore. I wish I was playing possum," Tyson admitted. He then addressed his upcoming fight with Jake Paul, saying, "We're going to see if Paul can handle my power." Tyson issued a stern warning to Paul. "Once the punches start flying, I'll revert back to my old self. I'm not trying to end Paul. I really like Jake a lot. But once he's in that ring, he has to fight like his life depends on it, because it will." Even though Tyson's words carried a jovial tone, they echoed the same brutality and intensity that defined his prime years. One significant concern among fans has been Tyson's stamina, given his age, despite his remarkable physical condition. This issue has been addressed by shortening the rounds, which promotes more action and less need for conserving energy, something that Netflix will certainly appreciate. During the press conference, Tyson was asked if he had any specific demands regarding the fight's rules. He responded that he preferred shorter rounds to ensure more action. "With only 2-minute rounds, we'll be really fighting more," he explained. Paul added, "It's going to be a firefight with more punches and a faster pace, making it more entertaining for the viewers." The only other change from standard professional bouts is that both Tyson and Paul will use 14-ounce gloves instead of the usual 10-ounce ones. Knockouts will still be allowed, and if the fight goes the distance, the result will be determined by the judges' scorecards. Tyson was practically allergic to going the distance in his professional journey, securing a staggering 44 out of his 50 victories via knockout. A true maestro of the knockout, he seems to possess an unyielding power, evident from the glimpses of his training shared across social media.
Saying that this fight is scripted for Jake Paul to win.
Well, just come to the fight and you'll see. Listen, I started Jake off and I'm gonna finish him.
Jake Paul?
With 2-minute rounds in play, he'll have ample opportunity to unleash his full force without enduring prolonged breaks. Paul certainly has his work cut out for him. "I'm ready for the challenge," declared Paul. He added, "This showdown has been brewing for ages." We've been exchanging challenges for years, and now, finally, it's coming to fruition, courtesy of Netflix, the pinnacle platform. The stakes just keep soaring higher. This isn't just another fight, it's a historic moment unfolding before our eyes. Despite Jake Paul's bravado in dismissing Mike Tyson's apprehension, it remains starkly evident. Consequently, numerous boxing legends have stepped forward to caution Jake Paul ahead of the impending bout. While some offered strategic advice to enhance his chances in the ring against the formidable Tyson, others urged him to reconsider the match altogether. Among those voices of caution was the esteemed boxing icon Lennox Lewis. Reflecting on their era, Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson engaged in one of the most intense rivalries in boxing history. Their showdown was prefaced by a tumultuous lead-up, marked by a notorious brawl at a New York press conference. Ultimately, Lewis emerged victorious with an eighth-round knockout, effectively quashing Tyson's aspirations for a world championship. Now, more than 2 decades later, as the specter of their enmity looms over the upcoming fight, one might anticipate a diminished yet lingering animosity between the two legends. Contrary to what many might have expected, Lennox Lewis surprisingly suggested a triumph for his former rival. Nearly 4 years after their exhibition bout, Mike Tyson is stepping into the ring once again, this time to spar with YouTuber-turned-boxer Jake Paul. Scheduled for July 20th at the AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, this exhibition match has garnered significant attention. TMZ Sports recently caught up with the former undisputed heavyweight boxing champion, where he was asked about his anticipation for the upcoming fight. Lewis responded enthusiastically, emphasizing the entertainment factor, stating, "Absolutely, absolutely. It's going to be an exciting showdown. You have to see these guys as entertainers. The public adores them and craves to witness their performance." The journalist wasted no time in firing off the next question, probing whether Lennox Lewis would have preferred the upcoming bout to be a sanctioned fight rather than an exhibition. In response, Lennox Lewis dismissed the notion, explaining that he wouldn't have insisted on such a formality out of concern for Jake Paul's well-being. "I'd hate to see Jake Paul get hurt. That's the last thing I want," he emphasized, expressing genuine worry about the potential risks involved. Lewis elaborated, expressing his apprehension for Jake Paul's safety against an opponent like Mike Tyson, whose punching prowess remains formidable. Lewis remarked, "Tyson still packs a punch, as evident from his training sessions. If one of those punches lands on Jake Paul, he'll definitely feel it." Aware of Jake Paul's reluctance to take hits, Lewis acknowledged the challenge Paul might face against Tyson's aggressive style and ability to corner his opponents. Reflecting on Tyson's recent condition, Lewis noted, "I saw Mike a couple of weeks back and he seemed in good shape. He's clearly preparing himself." Overall, Lewis's concerns echoed the sentiments of many, emphasizing the importance of prioritizing safety in such matchups. However, it wouldn't mark the first occasion when Lewis voiced his confidence in his former adversary. Just last month, via his Instagram, the ex-heavyweight champion conveyed an intriguing sentiment. "I think it's going to be an interesting bout. I mean, Mike Tyson, what he brings is rather two-dimensional. He aims to come at you full force, aiming for the knockout. So your best bet is to evade, steer clear of his power," he elaborated. Lewis accompanied his words with a snippet from a simulated mixed martial arts showdown between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, musing further. "So word on the street is Mike Tyson might square off against Jake Paul. Uncertain about the outcome, but perhaps it could unfold somewhat like this." Amidst the swirling controversies enveloping him, Ryan Garcia recently shared his thoughts on the forthcoming July 20th bout and the enduring hunger and fervor exhibited by Mike Tyson in his training and sparring sessions. Garcia, who has been embroiled in allegations of unfair play following his significant victory over Devin Haney on April 20th, seems poised to confront potentially severe repercussions in the near future. While immersing himself in discussions surrounding the upcoming fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, Garcia was observed engaging in dialogue with Jake Paul via a Twitter space. Jake Paul swiftly retorted, asserting his casual approach not only towards the proposed showdown with Ryan Garcia, but also towards life in general. "I've never been one to take things too seriously," he quipped. Jake confidently asserted his stance, demonstrating his readiness to face Ryan without expecting a flashy showdown. He remained unfazed by the challenge, expressing his belief in his ability to emerge victorious. However, amidst his bravado, uncertainty lingered. He questioned whether Ryan truly comprehended the extent of his readiness to triumph. Despite the exchange of reassurances between them, Jake couldn't shake the feeling of mutual apprehension. If a confrontation was inevitable, he preferred it to be straightforward and devoid of unnecessary tension. Jake's words left a bitter taste, stirring emotions as his challenge hung in the air.
Come on, fuck Jake Paul. 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 I like that shit. Yeah. Hey, I hope y'all keep that same energy when I knock this old man the fuck out.
And for the
Ryan felt compelled to emphasize the looming challenge awaiting his friend, reminding him of the imminent showdown with none other than the former undisputed world heavyweight champion, Mike Tyson. Despite Ryan's concerned words, the conversation between Jake and Garcia pressed on, with occasional jests thrown in. Meanwhile, even Roy Jones Jr., one of Tyson's recent opponents, offered a word of caution to Jake Paul through Shane Mosley. He warned that if Tyson is in shape and Jake isn't, it's going to pose serious problems. However, if Jake manages to evade early big shots and stays in top form, victory might still be within his grasp. Jake's strategy isn't about engaging up close. However, Mike's speed in closing the distance nullifies that plan. Mike's increasing size suggests he'll attempt to grapple and push Jake back upon closing in. Jake's proficiency is evident when he's pressing forward, not when he's forced to retreat. Despite Mike Tyson's efforts to silence his critics, one individual remains steadfast in his paranoid assertions. Deontay Wilder persists in doubting Tyson's fitness for the impending bout, citing concerns about Tyson's age and lack of recent activity. The former world champion has voiced apprehensions regarding the safety of the exhibition match, warning of the potential for Tyson to suffer severe injury, even suggesting the grim possibility of a coma. Wilder criticizes the commission's decision to grant Tyson a license based solely on his reputation, arguing that such actions endanger fighters. He emphasizes the importance of caution, expressing hope that Tyson will emerge from the match unscathed. People find themselves in the wrong spot at the wrong moment more often than not. There are numerous instances where individuals have been struck in such a way that it sends them into a state of unconsciousness. It's a distressingly simple occurrence. Frankly, Mike's age renders him unsuitable for this endeavor. Ultimately, nobody seems to care much about Mike's well-being. We can debate the advantages and disadvantages endlessly, but in the grand scheme, his welfare doesn't seem to matter. Meanwhile, Bob Arum has finally weighed in on the upcoming Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight, and his outlook for Tyson is grim. He has issued a stern warning to Tyson to avoid the match after observing some fierce indications from Jake Paul during their face-off. Could Arum be seeing something we're not? Since the fight was announced on March 7th, 2024, it has sparked a mix of reactions among fans and professionals in the sport. Many still believe in the enduring abilities of Iron Mike Tyson, confident that despite his age and health limitations, he remains an insurmountable challenge for an influencer boxer like Jake Paul. They have faith that Tyson can tap into the power and athleticism that defined his career, achieving feats like holding the undisputed world heavyweight champion title for 3 years.
He should be lean and mean. He's fat and funky. I saw him with his shirt off the other day. He's fat. I thought, did you start training already?
Hey, but
While Tyson's achievements and his legendary career in the ring are respected by many, there is a prevailing sentiment that the Iron Mike of old no longer exists. Those who once admired his prowess believe that the man stepping into the ring on July 20th is a different person entirely, one who stands little chance against Jake Paul. They foresee not just a loss, but a devastating defeat for the former world champion, who will be facing an opponent 31 years his junior. Tyson has paid no heed to his critics. Instead, he's channeling all his energy into proving them wrong and demonstrating to the entire boxing world that the baddest man on the planet still holds that title. Mike Tyson has been making waves with his intense workout and sparring sessions, often seen training rigorously with his coach, Rafael Cordeiro. These sessions have not only impressed fans, but also swayed many skeptics, showing that Tyson's iron will remains unbroken. Even Jake Paul has confessed to feeling intimidated by Iron Mike, especially after his girlfriend predicted a possible knockout for Paul upon seeing Tyson's formidable training footage. Despite some lingering doubts about Mike Tyson's return to the ring, Tyson addressed his critics head-on in a recent interview. Before the fight was even sanctioned as a professional bout, the former heavyweight champion, known as the baddest man on the planet, fired back at those questioning his comeback. Tyson argued that the skepticism was rooted more in jealousy than genuine concern. Bob Arum has now entered the conversation, and his sentiments towards Mike Tyson are far from favorable, especially after witnessing the face-off. Despite the absence of any palpable tension or animosity during the encounter, Arum is convinced that Jake Paul's revamped physique and focused mentality pose a significant threat to the boxing legend. Reflecting on Tyson's prime, Arum remarked that a fight between Tyson and Paul 3 decades ago would have resulted in a decisive and brutal victory for Tyson. However, given the current circumstances and what Arum observed during the face-off, he doubts Tyson's ability to dominate the match now. In a comment on a YouTube channel, renowned CEO Bob Arum discussed the upcoming match between blogger-turned-boxer Jake Paul and former undisputed champion Mike Tyson. Arum mentioned, "I spent some time with Tyson in Riyadh, and I've never seen him so calm and well-behaved. He's truly a nice person now, and Jake Paul is also a nice guy. If this fight had happened 20 years ago, it would have been a joke. We would have needed an ambulance on standby because Tyson would have quickly knocked Paul out, just as he did with many opponents back then." Now Tyson is older, and it's uncertain if he still possesses the muscle response necessary for an athlete to perform at his best. Arum added, "I don't think Jake Paul is anywhere near the level of Muhammad Ali. For a good competitive match, Jake Paul should consider facing Tommy Fury again. In my opinion, Fury defeated him quite easily in their previous bout, which is more indicative of Paul's current skill level. However, predicting the outcome of a fight involving a 58-year-old boxer is nearly impossible. Just like legendary baseball pitchers, whose skills significantly decline after 50 despite their technical knowledge, a fighter's abilities diminish with age." He then discussed the financial aspects of the match and Netflix's involvement. "I just hope no one gets hurt. I'm glad Mike will make a lot of money," he said. It's fascinating to see that Bob Arum isn't the only one concerned about Mike Tyson's well-being in this match. Numerous other boxing professionals share similar worries, especially after the recent face-offs. Notably, Oscar de la Hoya was among the first to express his concerns in an interview. His response clearly indicated skepticism towards the pro-fight claims, a sentiment he reiterated during this week's face-off in an interview with TMZ Sports. "I'm going to pray for Mike Tyson because I love Mike Tyson," de la Hoya said. He added, "I think Jake Paul is a real fighter. He truly is. It's a dangerous fight. Mike Tyson, be careful, please." It's no shock that Oscar de la Hoya has voiced his apprehensions once more, having shared his thoughts on the matter about a month ago. "Listen, I'm a purist," de la Hoya stated when questioned about the Tyson versus Jake Paul matchup. He added, "Have I ever been involved in these kinds of fights? No. Jake Paul, you claim you want to be a world champion and take the sport seriously, then start taking it seriously." He expressed disappointment in Jake Paul's contemplation of facing Mike Tyson, citing it as contradictory to his previous statements about taking the sport seriously. He added, "However, I find myself actually applauding Jake Paul for his dedication to the sport. I genuinely believe that if he chooses his battles wisely and follows the right path to a world title, he could achieve it. While I acknowledge Paul's potential to reach great heights, I'm uncertain if he can claim victory. It ultimately rests on his performance." Nonetheless, he doesn't see Tyson as the stepping stone to Paul's success. Rather, it seems like a move geared more towards financial gain and increased fame, albeit at Tyson's expense. He added, "As a fan of Mike Tyson, I can't say I'm thrilled about this matchup. In my view, Tyson isn't the suitable opponent for Jake Paul. He simply hasn't earned that privilege yet." Let's remember, this is ultimately entertainment. And while this fight may attract significant attention and revenue worldwide, I still hold reservations. Despite his admiration for Mike Tyson, there's a concern about Tyson's age affecting his safety in the ring. Tyson's faced some serious opponents before, sure, but stepping in against a powerhouse like Jake Paul at 57 is a whole different ballgame. It's worrying for Tyson's legacy. I've never witnessed someone of his age going up against such a force. It could end sadly for him. And as for boxing as a whole, it's hard to gauge the impact. There's going to be a ton of attention on the fight, given Tyson's iconic status. Michael Bisping, the former middleweight world champion, emerged as one of Jake Paul's fiercest rivals during their feud with mixed martial artists. Bisping, known for his no-nonsense attitude, spared no time in criticizing Paul's antics during fight build-ups. He believed that Paul stood little chance of success in their potential bout, suggesting that even in the best-case scenario, Paul would only be defeating a legend long past his prime. "If Jake Paul loses, sure, it's Mike Tyson, but still, come on," Bisping quipped during an episode of his Believe You Me podcast. Bisping failed to see any significance in the matchup for Paul, but would undoubtedly root for Tyson to secure a decisive victory, hoping it would mark the end of Paul's boxing career once and for all. At 58 years old, there's a line in the sand. If you can't hold your own, don't dare to face Jake Paul again. Knocking out a man of that age would be labeled as elder abuse. The stakes are high, with money being the only prize, but don't underestimate the intensity of those 2-minute rounds if you've never stepped into the ring. Mike Tyson, despite his age, will feel fatigue after just 3 rounds. However, Jake Paul's style leaves glaring openings, and he's yet to confront someone of Tyson's caliber. While he may have gone the distance with Nate Diaz, this fight with Tyson is on a whole different level.
To win. Look at, he couldn't even knock out Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz is 40 pounds. How he gonna knock me out? What's the other guy? Anderson Silva. He didn't knock those little guys. How he gonna knock me out?
Jake, majority of your fights, we've certainly seen the power on display.
Who did he knock out? Who did he knock out? Little children. He didn't knock out, never knocked out a real man. Come on.
He's questioning your power, Jake. He's saying you haven't knocked out a legitimate fighter of his ilk.
He didn't knock out Tommy Fury.
Your response to that, Jake?
However, while Baradarian, the announcer, is celebrating, boxing fans are voicing their contempt at the decision to make Paul's fight with Tyson a professional contest. While some may raise doubts about the governing body's decision to greenlight the fight as an exhibition match, prior confirmation indicates stringent medical measures were in place. Before receiving sanction, Mike Tyson underwent thorough brain and other scans to ensure his fitness for the bout. Moreover, with the adaptation of 2-minute rounds, Tyson's prospects for victory seem brighter. However, Stephen Hughes, a senior lecturer in medicine at Anglia Ruskin University, underscores the potential risks Tyson faces. Hughes highlights the peril of a subdural hematoma, wherein torn veins in the brain result in dangerous bleeding, leading to a range of severe consequences, including confusion, loss of consciousness, neurological impairment, and in tragic cases, even death. These enduring consequences were described by Hughes as devastating and permanent. While the initial impact might seem slight, there's a possibility for the boxer to eventually recover, albeit sometimes too late. At certain junctures, the ramifications can escalate significantly, he elaborated. With age, the susceptibility of these veins increases, compounded by factors such as those experienced by Mike Tyson in the past. Subdural hematoma, a condition characterized by the tearing of bridging veins between the brain and its blood vessels, can ensue. The resultant bleeding forms a clot that applies pressure on the brain, leading to symptoms ranging from confusion and loss of consciousness to neurological impairment and, tragically, in some instances, fatality. As individuals age, their brains often experience a decrease in volume, leading to elongation of the bridging veins, rendering them more susceptible to ruptures. This process accelerates brain shrinkage, which appears to be a pre-existing risk factor for Tyson. Furthermore, shearing forces on the brain can result in neuronal injury, compounding the issue. Tyson's recent history includes an injury that necessitated the use of crutches roughly a year ago. Although Tyson's trainer, Rafael Cordero, reassured the public that it wasn't a cause for concern, some remained skeptical. In an interview, Cordero detailed Tyson's chronic back pain, which has plagued him since childhood. Managing his back health is a priority during training sessions, especially given his frequent lateral movements. Additionally, extensive travel has prompted Tyson to utilize crutches to maintain proper posture following long flights. Mike Tyson likely made this choice after witnessing the tragic fate of numerous boxers who suffered from brain-related issues later in life. At his age, it's prudent to minimize unnecessary risks. Reflecting on the legacy of his hero, Muhammad Ali, Tyson recognizes the grim reality that Ali's life was marred by brain-related ailments, symptoms of which surfaced even during his active boxing career. Despite Ali's belief that his unique fighting style would shield him from the devastating effects of countless powerful blows, Tyson understands the importance of prioritizing health and safety. Unlike Ali, who often bewildered opponents by goading them into expending their energy, Tyson acknowledges the need to approach the sport with caution and foresight. Jonathan Eig, the author behind a comprehensive biography of the boxing legend, revealed a startling revelation about the fighter's mindset. Despite warnings and concerns, the legendary boxer adamantly believed he was impervious to the risk of brain damage. In fact, he actively encouraged his sparring partners to target his head, convinced he could toughen himself against such blows, akin to calluses forming on skin. With an unwavering focus on both his public persona and his private life, Eig meticulously chronicled the journey of this three-time heavyweight champion. Describing Ali as a transformative figure in sports, Eig emphasized how the boxer challenged societal norms and redefined the role of an athlete. Ali's outspokenness and demand for dignity transcended sports, reshaping perceptions of African-American athletes. However, it's Ali's battle with neurological issues, painstakingly documented by Eig, that resonates strongly in today's context, particularly in relation to the experiences of modern fighters like Mike Tyson. Overall, Tyson Fury's stern warning to Jake Paul ahead of his upcoming bout with Mike Tyson highlights the gravity and intrigue surrounding this highly anticipated event. Fury's confidence in Tyson's abilities, his experience, power, and skill paints a picture of a formidable opponent for Paul. His prediction that Tyson will emerge victorious sets the stage for what promises to be a significant clash in the boxing world. Fury's warning is not just a prediction, but a reflection of the sentiments shared by many boxing professionals and enthusiasts. Tyson's status as a legendary figure in the sport, coupled with his knockout power and reputation, makes him a daunting adversary for Jake Paul, whose career as a professional boxer has been met with both skepticism and curiosity. The lead-up to the fight has been marked by bold claims and bravado from both sides. Paul, known for his social media antics and rapid rise in the boxing world, has been vocal about his ambitions and confidence, particularly in the face of older, established fighters. Meanwhile, Tyson has displayed a focused determination in his training, eager to prove that he still possesses the skills that made him one of the most feared heavyweights of his time. The fight itself, now sanctioned as a professional bout rather than an exhibition, adds an additional layer of intensity and scrutiny. Tyson's insistence on making it a serious contest underscores his desire to silence doubters and reclaim his place in the boxing pantheon. For Paul, this fight represents an opportunity to validate his status as a serious contender and to make a statement against a living legend. Amidst the hype and spectacle, questions linger about Tyson's age and fitness, factors that could play a significant role in the outcome. While Tyson's training videos have shown glimpses of his former ferocity, there are concerns about whether he can sustain that level of performance against a younger, determined opponent like Paul. The shortened rounds and heavier gloves may mitigate some risks, but the unpredictability of boxing remains a constant. For Jake Paul, this fight represents a pivotal moment in his career. A victory over Tyson would undoubtedly elevate his status in the boxing world and solidify his credibility as a serious athlete. However, the challenge of facing a fighter of Tyson's caliber cannot be understated, and Paul will need to demonstrate skill, strategy, and resilience to prevail. As the date of the fight approaches, the anticipation and speculation will only continue to grow. Boxing fans and pundits alike will scrutinize every aspect of the fighter's preparations, looking for clues and insights into what may transpire in the ring. The outcome of the Tyson versus Paul fight will not only shape the legacies of both fighters, but could also have broader implications for the sport of boxing itself. In the end, whether Tyson can turn back the clock or Paul can rise to the occasion remains to be seen. What is certain is that July 20th will be a night to remember, as two distinct eras of boxing collide in what promises to be an unforgettable showdown. So that's all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.